Connect today, guys. August 25th, 2024, coming at you for our live stream for the next hour. Talk about Daryl, Dixon, Dead City, Little League World Series, football, other shows, other movies, other stuff you're watching. From coming back in less than a month, Daryl Dixon, 5 weeks away. So we're getting there, guys. We're getting close to the return of some good shows in September. I guess college football technically already started with Florida State losing to Georgia Tech. And we watched a movie called Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, and a couple other people are in it. Like a decent amount of other actors are in that movie as well. Started a new series called Bad Monkey with Vince Vaughn. And what are you guys watching? We're watching the third part of that 90s show. I always like to hear what you guys are watching, how you're doing, what's going on. Did you start back at school? Are you going to start after Labor Day? Are you have the kids going back to school, retired? I don't know. All those good things, bunch of stuff to talk about. Good afternoon, Anissa. How we doing on there too? So the big thing is, hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well, mind, body, and soul. And so for those who don't know, hopefully you guys know by now, because we've been doing these live streams for many, many years, is I'm a physical therapist in Florida. And I've been now for over 15 years. I've been a physical therapist, and I'm excited for the future of the career and everything, but it's getting harder and harder. I don't know how you feel about things, but it's just getting harder to make ends meet or get ahead at times. But, you got to do the best you can, invest your money, save your money, live below your means, and try to have some fun for sure. So how we doing, Tim? Good afternoon. And this says she's rewatching From before season 3. So that's always good. From right now is like the point of the show where there's a lot of questions. There's more questions than answers, right? It's one of those shows that hopefully there's definitely see. Good afternoon, Big Tree, RWF 456. So From is a MGM Plus show. It was on, what was it before MGM Plus? But it's a good show if you haven't seen it yet. It's from some of the people who made Lost, and I never watched Lost, but I know a lot of people love that show and that series. And I don't know if it's a rewarding ending, and a lot of people said it wasn't or whatever. Again, I haven't seen it at all, so I don't know. Hopefully for Epix, thank you. I can remember Epix first, and now it's MGM Plus. So Lost, I never watched it at all, but it was on for a decent amount of seasons, and I'm hoping that because I don't mind more questions, but we need answers. We need something to give us some big step of where they're at. Are they in between the normal world and Fromville and the multiverse or something? It's just one of those, I don't know. I'm in this group. I'm in two groups on Facebook that are talking about From, and it's just crazy how people are saying the same questions and the same things over and over and over and over and over again. So I was like, I'm snoozing this group until stuff comes back on, because so many people are talking about, Tabitha's reflection in the window. And I'm like, it's her face. Like, it's not someone else. And we see in the trailer gives away some good stuff, because it talks about where Tabitha is, meeting this person there. So she clearly gets out. Will she be able to get back in? I would assume so, but of course she wants to go back and save her family, I'm guessing, right? But it's one of those things where I just hope we get some big answers, some more questions, and I don't know if we're going to get a seasons 4, 5, and 6 or whatever the plan is, but I hope more and more people watch it, and that's ultimately what happens is people have to support it. But with streaming shows now, and speaking of streaming shows, Netflix just got a huge lineup of AMC shows. Fear the Walking Dead, Dark Winds, the witch shows, and whatever else, all that stuff too. But the big things that I saw was Fear the Walking Dead, which I'm never going to watch again because that was a big waste of time in my opinion. Dark Winds is definitely a good show. I would rather you watch Dark Winds, the 2 seasons now, than Fear the Walking Dead at all. But it's definitely, they just got a new lineup of it. Netflix just got a whole bunch of shows too, so. James, what's up, man? How are you doing? How are you going? I'm watching The Flash, All-American Season 6, and The Shy on Paramount+. Also, have you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? I tried to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's just not for me. Like, it just got too cheesy and clowny and what it was. Yeah, the Daryl show also on there, too, yeah. Daryl, Season 1. So, again, they got a whole bunch of stuff on AMC shows just came to Netflix. So, that's a great way for people to watch. I don't know if, like, you can watch those shows now outside the United States, because I know that. So Wilson here kind of jumped right to it. Wilson says, "I wish the AMC shows were on Netflix UK." So that sucks. Like, so I guess they really do have different, I don't know, content and shows and whatever for UK, USA, South America, Australia, wherever. Like, because I guess they have different things blocking them, but that kind of sucks. So I don't know. So Wilson would know, or anybody else who's outside the United States, what can't you watch so far of, like, Walking Dead or, I don't know, Disney Plus shows or whatever? Like, what can you watch? What can't you watch too? So JOK says, here in the UK, we've just got Daryl, Dixon, and Dead City on Sky Max. Okay, so it's just like a different show. So it just looks like it's something else on there too. So I guess people have different contracts or different whatever connections with AMC shows, because you got to own the rights to your stuff, man. That's what I've learned on there too. So, like Wilson says, Walking Dead is on the Disney Channel. So that's kind of crazy. James says, I can't wait Heels to be on Netflix. I hope they make a season 3. So, yeah, I really hope that they have to make a season 3 of Heels, because the way they left it, you just need one more season, wrap it up, finish it, get the Amel, the Amel guy and the other huge dude from Vikings and stuff. But it's a good wrestling show, and I like different kind of shows and different kind of dramas, but the Spade family, that's kind of a tough wrestling family in that universe there. But overall, guys, hopefully you're doing well. Since we're a couple minutes in, I'm going to take a break from live streams after today. So I think after today, I'm going to do a live stream starting back on the 29th when the Daryl show comes back. Maybe the 22nd when From comes back, and we would talk about From. But the 29th for sure when Daryl's show starts back, because it's just like a lot going on right now, and to do this and to stop what I'm doing, and it's just one of those things where I need to take a break again to get caught up on stuff around my house and everything. And my dad comes in October, so I got to do some things over the weekend, and it's not like a biggest difference when it's a 1 hour break, but I have to stop before, and if I can't start something or whatever, so I'm going to take a break for that coming back, but I'll be back either the 22nd or 29th. So yeah, James, I watch Iron Claw. It's a really good movie. It's a terrible story about that family, but I enjoyed it, and because I remember the Kerry Von Erich wrestler and the Texas Tornado and stuff from WWE, and watching that, it's kind of crazy what happened to that guy in real life too. So, and this says, I got tickets for dinner with Greg Nicotero and Nick and Normans in Lexington, Kentucky through Scarefest in Lexington in October. That's awesome. Greg Nicotero is a nice guy. I've actually never met him directly at a convention or anything like that too, but it's every panel, every question, every Q&A, everybody I've ever talked to who met Greg Nicotero, he's like the nicest guy. And so is Norman, and so is Jeffrey Dean Martin. A majority of the cast are nice, but Greg has got a great, story working on, props and this and just effects and just everything with K&B Effects, because, I think he was going to be a doctor or something initially, and then he went into just acting and being from Pittsburgh and just being involved with the zombie genre and everything. So it's pretty awesome. Like that's pretty cool. So if you actually get to meet him and talk to him and everything, be there for dinner. And so definitely pick his brain a little bit and maybe see if he could tell you any future of the Walking Dead franchise, because, you know, I don't mind the Walking Dead carrying on, but why? Give me a reason to care about it, right? Like, I would love for the main people to come around again in the show. I would love for the main people for there, but I don't know what the reason behind is that. Because Daryl and Carol can bring conflict to the United States from their show. So we have to have villains. We have to have, you know, an antagonist for our protagonist, because if we don't have a problem, what are we watching? Because at this stage of the Walking Dead universe, Dead City, Daryl Dixon, any other shows that they make anything else, they should be very good at supplying themselves, and now the CRM is helping stuff across the United States. Which is kind of crazy to think that it took Michonne and Rick to show the fact that the CRM, the Civic Republic military, because the Civic Republic is the governing body and the military is the aspect of the Civic Republic, that the CRM are terrible people, right? So why wasn't there a meeting or a council or something when they were blowing up places in the Midwest United States, going to attack Portland, going to blow up these places, like killing the campus colony and then Omaha? Like, they were okay with that? Like, there was never an investigation that showed what happened? Because, come on now, you know, like, in a lawless zombie apocalypse story, eventually you have to get back to society, or you don't, right? Like, I mean, there's only so many endings of a zombie apocalypse story. Everybody lives, everybody dies, some people live, some people die, some people get to an island, a cure, the military shows up, and everything else in between, right? So it's just something that I'm like, where are they going with this too? So Evo, how you say your name? You saw that they are filming in Madrid for Daryl season 3, but it's actually supposed to be London. No, I didn't see that. It's supposed to be London. I know they just started or set up filming for Daryl Dixon season 3 in Madrid, Spain. I don't know if it's supposed to be somewhere else or whatever, but so I really hope that this is the last time they're filming in Europe. Because it was always annoying when the Walking Dead was like clockwork. Like, everybody was together, everybody was separate, then they came together, then they separated, together, separated, together, separated, rinse and repeat over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And now we have these different shows that you have stuff all over the place, and it's kind of just a jumbled mess. Like, I know Daryl and Carol can carry their own show, and I definitely love that. The Negan-Maggie thing. Okay, we have Negan having Lucille. It's a love-hate relationship. We're going to see this. We're going to see that. Negan being Negan. Old school Negan. Maggie has to help Negan. What's going to be the future of that? Bring in somebody. Bring in Mercer. Bring in somebody else. Like, that would be a way to kind of reignite the Walking Dead franchise again. Because Maggie, in my opinion, I love Lauren Cohan. Can't do it. But don't just rely on her. Because she can't really sell the show, in my opinion. She needs someone else. She can't do her own thing. She has to have some involvement with Negan or so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. And so Daryl, on the other hand, I think can carry his own show because he's always been a loner. And he's always been that guy he don't need much. Like, there's only certain people that could be in Castaway. And Tom Hanks was a great actor. And there's probably a couple more other actors too. But Tom Hanks was a great choice for that because he draws you in. And he has really no other actors for a big chunk of that movie. And they have flashbacks and this on there too. But there's a big chunk of that movie where it's just him and a volleyball. You know, and for a lot of that stuff, it'd be pretty boring to watch. But he draws you in. And this stuff, conflict, draws you in. Let me get caught up on here too. And this says, they are still filming for Stranger Things in Noonan, Georgia for the 5th and final season. So I'm excited for Stranger Things, how they're going to wrap it up. And that'll be probably, I guess, next year, right? Because, like, you know, all the visual effects and the cast and the writing and everything. And everybody got pushed back with the writer's strike and the actor's strike. But Stranger Things, wrap it up, conclude it. It's the 5th and final season. So I still stand by the best blueprint for any show or series is 5 to 6 seasons. End it, move on, spin-offs, prequels, whatever, sequels, however they want to do it to continue the lore, but the main show can kind of, have it there, have the main focal point, 5 to 6 seasons too. So Evo, you're using red buses and other things, suggesting it's actually set in London. Pretty curious how they're going to end up in Spain from there. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to figure out the Walking Dead anymore. Like, some of the best part of The Walking Dead was seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? Because we were trying to figure out Terminus. We were trying to figure out the group, how they're going to get there. Are they going to survive? Terminus, the termites, Father Gabriel, Bob, the wolves, this, that. Eventually Negan came around and then changed the whole dynamic. But it was like, where is the show going? Are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? Check out the comics, the source material. Are they going to change it up? Are they going to mix it up? Are they going to keep it the same? And it was like, oh man, this is great. The best things, 4, 5, and 6 are the best seasons of The Walking Dead in my opinion. And that was really the halfway point of 11 seasons. It's like 11 and a half basically, but it was very much the halfway point, and I think that was the best and the peak it'll ever be, and that's okay. Everything dies off and fades off and everything, but let's eventually wrap it up, because you're just having like, I don't know how many people still watch these shows and how many people still do stuff like that, but it's just, enough is enough already, right? Like, I mean, where are we going with this? If they don't get to the French CDC, if they don't get to this, if they don't talk about the Primrose team and Violet Rose team and Violet team and this team and that team and the the recordings of stuff, and we get to see stuff of that too, and you get to see the callbacks to Dr. Edwin Jenner and that stuff there, it just, we need those things. We need the callbacks, the connections, the Easter eggs, stuff that connects. I mean, we don't have to, but I mean, it's just things. I think it makes it better and better and better, and actually, connects the dots too. So, Phantom Deluxe, hey Bri, do you think the Walking Dead universe should move from main characters like OG Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead and instead explore their universe in other parts of the world with new and interesting characters? I mean, I don't know. So that's one route they could take, is that they go to like China or Australia or something here and something there. But do people care about that? Do people care about the Walking Dead franchise enough to be like, I'm going to watch The Walking Dead Australia, The Walking Dead China, The Walking Dead Brazil, The Walking Dead Caribbean, I don't know, The Walking Dead Canada, The Walking Dead Greenland, all right? I don't know. What are we actually doing it for? Because the main cast, there are people, there are main things. So, I'm sure YouTube and people are all about, oh, Daryl's going to Spain. You know who's in Spain? Rick's brother. Hey, there's a connection there. I'm sure there's a bunch of videos there talking about this, talking about that. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen, and people have been talking about that forever. And so, is it going to happen? I don't know. Do I care? No. It's just one of those things where I'm like, I really don't care that much about it too. So, Wilson, Q&A, do you ever rewatch the Walking Dead series? Do you watch it at all, or just certain seasons 2 through 6 I watch all the time? Yeah, I mean, I don't watch The Walking Dead anymore like I used to when it was on, or have it on, or put it on Netflix on there. I'd put on an episode or two, but now, to be honest, I don't. I mean, I work 40 hours a week in the clinic that I direct. I'm the clinic director. Come home, work out 4 days a week, take care of the house, take care of the stuff that's going on here, my cats, spend time with my wife, watch different shows and stuff. And, I'm not one of those people that are going to watch the show anymore, because it just kind of wasn't. There's certain things, like the Walking Dead franchise did a great way of building up. But it was just no there was some satisfying moments, but there just wasn't enough satisfying moments that was like, yes. Because, like, Terminus was probably one of the biggest build-ups ever in the Walking Dead franchise, right? In the Walking Dead universe, that was the biggest build-up. Those who arrive, survive, Terminus, different signs, different this and there, blah, blah, blah. Then they get there, and then they're cannibals. Then they're doing then they're there for one episode. They're at the end of the season, and then they start the next season. Carol blows it up. They go away from Terminus, and then they meet Father Gabriel, and then the termites come after them. They kill the termites, and then they leave, and then they come across Alexandria. And then it opens up a whole big things. I wish they were at the prison a little bit longer. I wish they were at Terminus a little bit longer. I wish they did things a little bit longer. But they kind of like jam-packed all this good stuff in. And then when Negan came in at the end of season 6 into season 7, just changed the dynamic. When Rick was powerless, when Rick wasn't able to be Rick again, for a long time, that he relied on Ezekiel and the kingdom and other stuff like that. It was like, what is this show now? What did this show become? Right? Like, it was like the writing totally jumped the shark and or jumped the tiger, I guess, basically, right? And so it was like there was too much differences of what it was. The Walking Dead always felt like, if it's fictional, of course, but a more realistic end of days dystopian zombie apocalypse story, show, series, movie, whatever. Like, it felt all that. And then it just got kind of ridiculous, right? Like, the fact that Negan has a wooden baseball bat and he's been killing walkers and people with the same baseball bat for years. That has barbed wire in it, by the way, which would damage the baseball bat, the wood, is ridiculous. Like, I mean, come on. Like, there's no way that it makes sense. It would make more sense if it was an aluminum baseball bat or whatever, Like, it's like, come on, right? And it's a fictional thing, but it's like things, you start to think about it, you're like, that's kind of dumb and kind of ridiculous and whatever, too. And then because like early on, it wasn't like that. It was Rick and Shane and Lori, the turmoil there, and the, I guess, love triangle. And then the farm, and then this, and then the prison, and this, and then that. And it was like, it just got realistic there, too. People would fight over this. Power struggles. They want what you got. We have a tank. We have a Daryl. We have a this. We have this. The prison's gone. We got to get away. We come there. We come to Alexandria. These people don't know what they're doing. Rick and them are trying to help them and do this, but we lost people along the way. Like, it was just a soap opera, but it kind of worked. And then it just goes off the rails. And you're like, And it's interesting that it's season 7 that it goes off the rails. When I keep saying time and time again, 5 and 6 seasons is the perfect amount of seasons, then anything after that kind of gets ridiculous, kind of like it did. Fear the Walking Dead, kind of the same thing, but that was all over. That writing was all over the place, right? So, I don't know. But the fact is that not everything is perfect. Not every show is perfect. Even some of the best shows have dumb moments or stupid things or stupid writing or stupid episodes or stupid characters or whatever. Like, there's no perfect thing. There's some shows that are close, but like Breaking Bad is pretty darn close to a perfect series. Like, it's very up there. Like, it's got to be up there 9 point whatever out of 10. It's got to be high Rotten Tomatoes scores or IMDb scores or whatever too. So I've never watched Outer Banks. I don't know what that is, James. But yeah, like I said, right now I'm watching that 90s show on Netflix, Royal Pains on Netflix. And I just saw that House is actually on Peacock. So we might have to mix a little bit of that now because we're watching Scrubs. We're finishing up Everybody Loves Raymond. Watching the Hard Knocks on Tuesdays, or when we watch it on Wednesday. We always watch everything like a day later. Like Game of Thrones was on Monday. We watched, or House of the Dragon, which which is a lot of good stuff should be coming out pretty soon. Next month is Tulsa King, from Daryl Dixon, football, and then I don't know what's coming out later. I know there's also the crazy thing next weekend is Labor Day weekend. It's Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut. And I think, eating contests and hot dog eating contests are just a waste of time. Like, it's so gluttonous. It's so gross. It's just like a waste of food. Like, I don't care how many hot dogs one person can eat. I don't care if it's 100 in 10 minutes. That's just gross. And it's a spectacle, and it's what people like to watch and just shock and awe, and, ugh. But that's coming up, too. And then, of course, I think in November now, it's the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight, which is like crazy, man. And this says, we're still watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer. One more season, and then we'll catch up on The Boys and Cobra Kai. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer from the 90s with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like that Buffy. Because I used to watch that on, was it CW or whatever? And I remember the movie with, I forget her name, but it was a movie, and then Donald Sutherland and Luke Perry. But I remember that Ben Affleck's actually in that movie too, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie. But like I said, we watched the movie Instigators with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, and it seems like an incomplete movie. Like, they had ideas that they kind of put it together, and like there's a whole plot and a story and a this and a that, but it's I don't know why it's called The Instigators, but I like Matt Damon, I like Casey Affleck, and Casey Affleck's pretty funny in it. And there's a bunch of people in that movie, like Ron Perlman. But yeah, the original. And this is watching the original show with Sarah Michelle Gellar. Is she still married to Freddie Prinze Jr.? I think so, but yeah. So like all these streaming services have to have different shows, different movies, different things that draw us in. Like what is there that's keeping them to draw you in to buy Disney Plus, AMC Plus, Hulu, Netflix, Amazon? Like, Amazon to me is the best because you get the products and the shows and the movies and Thursday Night Football because you're getting multiple services. Disney Plus, like if you have Disney Plus, you should get a discount at theme parks. You should get discounts with things. If Hulu and whatever is going to sign up for stuff, especially if you're a bundler, you should be getting discounts. It's just, come on now. Come on, Disney. Like, make an incentive, help people out. It's just crazy. We got to get some stuff to have this and have a bundle of a bundle. Bundle of a bundle. Bundle the bundle. James says they are making Insidious Chapter 6 comes out next year. I don't know when the final one is. Yeah, and people love that Insidious. I haven't watched any of those Insidious movies, but people love them. But yeah, I haven't seen like Twisters or Quiet Place Day 1 or anything like that. But I definitely want Christy Swanson. That's Christy Swanson? Is that what it was? Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's actually Tampa Bay Comic-Con this weekend is going on. And I know Elijah Wood and, a bunch of people are there too. And, I have a couple patients that were going this weekend to Tampa Bay Comic-Con. I'll have to check out how they enjoyed it and got to meet whoever they were going to meet and stuff there too. And conventions are always cool, I'll still never forget the Walker Stalker conventions in Atlanta. Because, my first Walker Stalker convention was in Orlando with my dad, and I remember we were standing in line to get our group photo with like 12 cast members. Like, it was amazing. And the guy we were talking to, he said, yeah, because the one guy, the people in front of us, we were like second in line or whatever, and the people in front of us were talking to the person that was just talking to us before we get in for the photo, and they said Rick's not here. Well, Andrew Lincoln doesn't come to any other convention besides Atlanta, and that's the best one to go to. And they were saying how it was this, and they all go to that one because they film it there, and they were this. And we were talking to them, and then we went to the Orlando convention, and then we went to all the Atlanta conventions, and then we went to another one in Nashville. That was the only 3 cities that we went to, was Orlando, Atlanta, and Nashville, and it was cool to go in for the convention to see the city and everything too. And that's probably like the best way or reason to go to a convention or to go to a city is for a convention or a meeting or something, and then hopefully you get to see some of the city while you're there, or come early, stay late kind of thing. Like I would love to go to Chicago, and I want to go to a Cubs game, go see the Bean and take the tours and this, and be around and people, just kind of people talking to us and telling us what's going on. And other than that, I don't have any friends there. I don't have any people there to tell us what's going on and just to take us around. But it's one of those things where I'm like, it's just kind of cool to see different cities and everything. And I've never been out like to Alaska or Hawaii, but I've talked to a lot of our patients because, again, we have retirees in Florida. And they are talking about, I have a patient that's going to Alaska in September on a cruise, and I haven't heard anybody go on a Hawaii cruise, but that's my dream vacation, is a cruise around Hawaii. But people are loving Alaska. And when I was younger, I was like, I don't want to go to Alaska. There's no way. What's the point of going to Alaska? Alaska's stupid. It's cold there. Stupid. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I want to go to Alaska. It looks beautiful. It looks majestic. It looks awesome. Like, you're going to see the bluest of blues, the greenest of greens, the whitest of whites, the polar bears, the bears, the eagles, the whales, the everything. It just seems like a great time, a great thing. So I got to get to Hawaii first, but then I'm going to go to Alaska down the road at some point, and we're getting all these things in the mail from Norwegian and all this stuff. But that's many years down the road because it's very, very expensive. But traveling around, seeing the world, going with my wife, and hopefully get to have a good time down in the future of years. Hopefully you guys have plans coming up. You got stuff going on, because that's what I love to have things to look forward to. Like, so if you celebrate Christmas, in 4 months, it's Christmas. And basically in 3 months, it's Thanksgiving. In 2 months, it's right around Halloween. Next month, September, hopefully it starts to cool down a little bit, fall, and you get to just enjoy the nice cooler weather and hopefully enjoy all that stuff. But we get to have all the great times and things that we make of it. But I like to have things to look forward to with my friends, my family, my wife, traveling, whether it's in a day, a week, a month, a year. Gotta have something to look forward to, Gotta keep it positive and having fun too. So, yeah, and this says, I love the Atlanta Convention Center and the skyline, as well as seeing the Walking Dead filming locations. Yeah, right around the Atlanta Convention Center is, filming sites, filming locations. And not just Walking Dead, but Marvel movies and other movies. I mean, I would assume that Atlanta has still so many filming locations that they use on a regular basis, whether it's for Cobra Kai or different shows and Stranger Things. Like, and this was saying they're filming in Noonan, Georgia. So in Atlanta or right outside Atlanta, whether it's Sonoy or Noonan or wherever, there's a bunch of great places there too. And it's definitely something that it's awesome to be a part of that, to see the filming spots, to see the filming locations, to actually see production. It's kind of cool. It's one of those things where you get to see just how they make things. It's just, I don't know. It's eye-opening. Zenith Q&A, Brian, are cruises uncomfortable, and do you get any danger vibes from other passengers? So they're not uncomfortable unless you make it uncomfortable or unless it's bad weather. Now, that being said, you can have rough waters, rough seas, rough weather. You could get sick. I don't ever get danger vibes from other passengers. Because you have to go through security to get on the boat. You have to scan your bags, your luggage. You have to go through it just like any other security. We're here on vacation, so it should be everyone to have a good time. But you got to wash your hands. You got to, just super about universal precautions. Cruises are fun. I mean, I'm a proponent of it's not where you are, it's who you're with. So it's definitely something that my wife and I have a good time because we have a good time. And, there's times where she got seasick. I got, sick on previous cruises. I lost my voice one of the times. And it's just something that, yeah, they have security on the cruise ships for sure. Like it's very safe. Like I don't ever remember people stuff happens, like people can fight and people can do this, people can do that too, but I don't think it's ever a deadly thing. I think it's more likely that somebody will get sick on a cruise ship than actually injured from something. But overall, that's a very low thing. So a cruise is great because you get to have the cruise, which is its own vacation by itself. You get on this boat, you go to your room, you can gamble, you can drink alcohol if you're of age, you can watch shows, comedians, just be on the water. Good food, you can have specialty dining, and then you get to go to the islands, whatever islands you're going to. Whether it's Cozumel or Grand Cayman or Belize, Honduras, Jamaica, Puerto Rico, San Juan, or that's Puerto Rico, St. Martin, St. Lucia, St. Kitts, St. Thomas, Aruba, Hawaii, Alaska, Mediterranean, Australia, wherever. It's so many different places, and that's a separate vacation. And you can get off, and then you could spend as much money as you want or not. But if you're worried about seasick, you can get Dramamine or Bonine or patches or stuff. And there's been times where I just never forget the first cruise I took my wife on, which was my third cruise. First cruise I went on spring break, my senior year in college. Then I went the next year because a couple friends were still there. I came back for their spring break. So 2 cruises in 2 years. And then I went to PT school and didn't go on a cruise for like 5 years. And if you've ever been on a cruise, you're always about booking your next cruise. So I started dating my wife, and I'm like, hey, have you ever been on a cruise? And she said, no. Would you want to go on a cruise? And she said, oh, maybe, yeah. Because her dad was always never going on a cruise because of seasickness and motion sickness and not because if you're on a spot, whether it's all inclusive or whatever, look at my 5 to Freeman. I know Brian married, but for us bachelors, just know a lot of freaky women love to hook up on cruises, so bro should definitely book cruises. Yeah, I mean, before I met my wife, you get to meet a lot of good people and nice people and have a good time. That's all I'll say about that. But but my wife never been on a cruise before, and I was on 2 cruises before it. No rough seas, good times, nice, smooth doing that. But we went Western Caribbean. This time we were going to go Eastern Caribbean, which goes against the Atlantic. And we get on the boat. We leave was that one from Miami or Fort Lauderdale? I forget it was either Fort Lauderdale or Miami because I was living in South Florida at the time. And we got on the boat. We get on there too, and it was a little rough, but not bad. But it started to stay a little rough, and the boat was rocking and things were moving. And I was like, it's never like this. Phantom Deluxe says, good night, Bri. See you, Phantom. Good night. But it's just, it was crazy. And I was like, yeah, you don't have to worry about that. And like, she was fine. She didn't get sick. Besides, she got sick when she was working out on the treadmill. So the boat was moving, the treadmill was moving, the screen was moving that she was looking at, plus she was moving. So it was just too many things coming at her. Her environment was moving too much. So it was pretty cool. It was a thing that she felt better and it was okay, and she made it through it, and she was good, and she made it through it, and she was in good spirits. But it was one of those things where I was like, yeah, you never get sick. It's never bad. It's never this. And she was a trooper, and it worked out. But it was it was kind of funny for a little bit there too. So yeah, so a cruise, to me, you gotta make the best of it. But any vacation can be bad. You can go to an all-inclusive, and the food can be bad, the drinks can be bad, the weather can be bad, the people can be bad, the service can be bad. Doesn't matter. Same thing on a cruise. You have a room steward that takes care of your room. You have probably the same waiters and waitresses at the dining hall, or the dining hall, I guess is what you call it. But it's where you go to eat every night, unless you go to specialty dining, that you get to meet these people. You get to know these people a little bit. And they always ask you, how was your day? What'd you do? Blah, blah, blah. And whatever, you get to talk a little bit. But it's kind of a nice little thing. And then you get to meet people on the cruise or not. You can be in your room, be there too. Same thing. So, I'm still trying to get together at a time. Because, again, this is another thing where I'm going to take a little break because of the live streaming, because I want to write a little bit more. And if I can free up some time on the weekends, I'm going to write more of my book series. So the next series I'm definitely trying to get going, because I have ideas. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'll be like driving down the street and something comes into my head. No, I'm good. I don't want to do a shark cage. I'm good. I'll stay with the easy excursions. But so I'm driving down the road and I listen to the radio, especially on the weekends. There's always like talk radio where people are talking about, rescuing things or this things or that things, or, just, I don't know. There was this guy on the radio and he was talking about, his group goes in and does rescue missions and everything, and they donate time and donate money and donate things, and they have to give people medicine and everything. And he said a great point, like when there's a life-changing thing like a war or whatever, cancer doesn't stop, or diabetes doesn't stop, or ailments don't stop. So you have to get the medications, the pills and the drugs to the people who need them. And it's sometimes between life or death. And that's why it's crazy to think about The Walking Dead, is like how many people would die right away because they don't get their insulin. Like that was a driving point for Dwight, Sherry, Negan, the Saviors, because of the insulin, right? I don't know how you would just make insulin. I don't know how you would have that unless stuff was stockpiled or put away on there too. So I don't really know the feasibility of that, but it's a great point in a disaster time. Not just here, because they were talking about it with Hurricane Maria that hit Puerto Rico years ago. They're still not back from that. Their electrical grid's still not back from that. And that's real life. So, like, you're just not going to be able to do that in a zombie apocalypse story when storms would keep happening and disasters would keep happening. And so who could get that up again? You have to have a team of engineers and everything in there too. So I just think about that as like the next step for my story is like, where do we go from here? What's the next logical step for the survivors of, Tampa Bay, because it still is revolving in Tampa Bay or Tampa, Florida. So it's just kind of cool to think about it, and it's kind of food for thought. And I don't think about my safety and stuff in the world, but I do like the idea of being self-sufficient. People that are having gardens and vegetable gardens and whatever kind of gardens, because it's kind of cool to think about it as I could make stuff, whether it's cucumbers or lettuce or whatever. It's just kind of cool. And when I get older and retired, that's what I plan to do a little bit, have more time for it. But it's just interesting because I would assume, like, I don't know how many people are retired in here, but retired doesn't mean death. It just means retired from work. So you don't have a job anymore, or you work part-time, or you don't have a full-time job or whatever. So you can go and do. So if you used to work 40 hours a week and now you're not, what are you going to do with those free 40 hours now? You're going to volunteer, you're going to work part-time, are you going to do this, or are you going to work out, or are you going to paint, draw, dance, have a garden, whatever. It's just kind of a crazy thing to think about it too. And I'm not there, but before I know it, we'll be there, right? And to think about it, talking with all the patients that I see, because again, I'm a physical therapist in the state of Florida, we're going to see majority of retirees in our 60s, 70s, and 80s. A lot of our patient caseload is that, which is good. And so it's kind of cool to see that. I always love the idea of learning from people, whether they're out there or if there's something that, is different from me or my viewpoints too. Like, that's why I always love talking to people about just a variety of topics. And I let people bring it up in just because during we see one-to-one patients for 40 minutes. So we get to talk to the patient directly for 40 minutes for a couple times a week for weeks and months. And so it's really cool to get to know these people. And you get to know, you get a little sneak peek into their life. And what I've learned is to incorporate that to how to get them better. Because if somebody is doing something so if someone comes to you, like physical therapy, they come to me to feel better, whether it's post-surgical or balance or deconditioning or weakness or whatever it is. And so, but I have to think about it as like, what are they going back to doing? What is their goal for therapy? What do they want to do after physical therapy is said and done? And will they achieve those goals? And so I always get to know the people, what they want to do. And a lot of people like to, play pickleball or water aerobics or golf or stuff like that too. And some people don't want to do anything. Some people just want to be able to walk without being dizzy or unsteadiness. So it's just easy like that. But I always like to incorporate it there as well, just because it's specific to them. It's not just cookie cutter and just one size fits all. And so it's always kind of an interesting thing where I get to know these people. And some people tell me way too much information, which is okay. I'd rather have a person who's very talkative than a person who's not. But a lot of times people get comfortable, and that's the goal that I have, that I want someone to be comfortable to talk about things and to think about things and think about their stuff and think about what's going on and what they can change to get better. Because a lot of people don't see things because anybody can give you exercises. Like I can teach students or techs or aides or assistants or basic stuff. They can give you exercises. The real therapy gains are made from education, teaching people, teaching, growing, inspiring, motivating, just lifestyle changes, right? And that's not just a therapy thing, that's a life thing. And I take that into account because I want people to change how they were doing things, because clearly it wasn't working or stuff has happened now that has to be changed. If we're not changing and adapting, that's going to be a problem, because people will still truly not get better if they don't change their sitting posture, their chair, their ergonomic setup, the height of their TV, the position of their computer, their ergonomic setup with their workstation, their posture with whatever, So it's different. Zenith Q&A, how many years did you train to be a licensed PT, and is a level 3 in sports massage a good way to start? Well, massage is a good part of it, and that's a big part of therapy as manual therapy. We don't call it massage because of a whole big thing, but it's manual therapy. So I went to school for 4 years of undergrad and got my I got my bachelor's of exercise science and a minor in psychology. And then I went to school for 3 more years. So I went to school for 7 years to get my doctorate of physical therapy. So that is the road you have to go. You have to get some sort of bachelor's degree in something that meets the requirements of becoming a therapist. So you have to be a kinesiology, exercise science, sports medicine, like something. Every school kind of calls it a little something different. And then when you meet the requirements with the psychologies and the anatomies and the chemistries and the biologies and the physics and all those requirements to get into PT school, then you apply to PT school after taking the GRE, which stands for the Graduate Record Exam. You have to get a certain score that makes it, eligible for it too, because if everyone's applying with, let's say, 1,000 or above, and you don't have 1,000 or above on your GRE, then they may look into it, they may not, but you have to take the GRE exam. So it's basically like a SAT type of test. It's not really relevant for PT school, but it's part of graduate school. And then you go to PT school for 3 years typically, and because there's a couple schools that are less, but typically it's 4 years of undergrad and 3 years of grad school for 7 years. And then a lot of people are like, you could be a doctor. And I am. I'm a doctor of physical therapy. I have my doctorate of physical therapy, so I am. Tim says, retired now, so it's full time. These days, put up all my food, for one example, make my own organic fertilizer for gardens and livestock feed. Awesome. Very cool. Let me see. Anissa, are you finding a lot more people with tech neck now because of cell phone usage? Yes, exactly. So the eye posture, tech neck, rounded shoulders, forward head position. And I literally show people you may be like this. And so your rounded shoulders, which is terrible. And people end up like this. So you have to get up out of this position, squeeze your shoulder blades, do a no money exercise, keep in your good posture, and do this throughout the day. And it's one of my main exercises for people with neck, shoulder, upper back, lower back, mid back pain, but a lot of neck and shoulder blades. So when you're squeezing your shoulder blades, it gets us out of that position and that posture, and you should do it throughout the day. It's a posture check exercise, and squeezing your shoulder blades down and back, not shrugging, but down and back. Very important for that posture. So yes, it's a very important thing. And it's one of those things where if we don't change that, if we don't adjust those things, we don't adjust our posture, not all the time. I'm a realist. I'm a real person. So I know we can't have perfect posture all the time. I don't. So why would I expect anybody else to? I'm one of those practice what I preach type people. If I'm not willing to do it, why would I tell anybody else? It's very hypocritical of me to tell someone to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. I tell people exactly what I would do for myself, my wife, my parents, my friends, my family. They become part of that. They become, part of our group that I value. When people come in the door and I evaluate them, that means a lot to me. And basically I feel like we're a team after that to get it better. And so one of those things I preach is working together, a team of two. So it's one of those things where you can be together, and if you feel that you can trust this person, then they'll buy in a little bit more, because that's ultimately what it is. Do they trust what I'm saying and doing will get them better? And not everyone gets better in therapy, but a lot of people do. And we have to learn. We have to teach people in a way that they understand. Like I could just be like this, and they're still not getting it. No, like this. And if I keep saying like this and they're not getting it, then we're getting nowhere. We have to reevaluate it. The person gets frustrated, the therapist gets frustrated, everyone gets frustrated. It's a frustration soup. And we have to get rid of it. So we have to change, adapt. Just make sense, like common sense. Let's think about it logically. Something is not right. How do we get it better? We had this meeting, the all company meeting for my company that I work for, and they own 7 clinics, so there's a lot of staff. And I'm like, all they did was say the problems and didn't really provide any solutions besides like a small little solution. They just kept stating the problems. And I'm like, we all know what the problems are. Reimbursement, insurance isn't paying as much, caseload, doctors aren't referring as much, competition, rent cost, inflation, all this crap. Like, we know all the problems, right? And stop saying the problems over and over and over and over again, right? But what are the solutions? How do we get it better? How do we improve these things? And hopefully, and I'm still waiting for answers from them, but I come up with my own stuff. Because again, I've been a therapist now for 15 years, and I've worked for 2 other outpatient clinics and like 5, maybe even 6 now, I don't even know, home health companies. So I got to see different people, different staff, different ideas, different management, different things. It's all the same, but different, but different, but the same. Like, it's all very similar problems too. So the other thing I want to say for my last 5 minutes, guys, is I have the Little League World Series final game today at 3 o'clock on ABC Eastern Standard Time, because it's in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. It's Lake Mary, Florida, which is around Orlando, versus, I believe it's Taiwan, in the final game. So, ABC, 3 o'clock, Little League World Series. I'm going to have it on. Hopefully you will too. I always love the Little League World Series because I love Little League baseball. It's like one of the purest forms of the sport, because everyone grows up, not everybody, but majority of people and a lot of people grow up playing baseball. And it's such a rite of passage when you're little. And I played baseball probably to around that level of 12 or 13, maybe a little bit older, and then I stopped playing. But it's just fun to watch these kids that are great from all over the world. And it's just awesome to see the caliber of play and the joy of these kids. And again, these kids are like 12 years old. I think they're like 11, 12, and 13 is the age groups of it. And some of these kids are huge. Some of these kids are tiny. But they're out there giving it their all. They're trying, and it's pretty cool. Especially, I've been from New Jersey when Tom's River won a bunch of championships. Not a bunch, but a couple. And I've been in Florida now, and the Lake Mary team is, I think, the first team to be in the final for a bunch of years now. So it's awesome, but it's cool. Check it out. ABC, 3 o'clock. Watch a little bit of it, and it's a good time. But other than that, guys, hopefully you're safe and sound and doing well, mind, body, and soul. Just remember, good times enjoy them. Bad times, get through them. But enjoy what you have. You can always think about things in a good light, a negative light, positive, this, negative, but just have fun with it. Don't always see the negative. Well, be a realist if you want, but try to keep things positive in perspective and just see it like everything's a test. And it's okay, but you pass. You wake up every day. What's today bringing? We'll find out, and we'll get through it, no matter what it is, right? There's going to be days where you get good days, bad days, trying days. Some days are great, but not every day is great, and not every day is the worst day of your life, and not every day is your birthday or anniversary or party time. But, just enjoy them. And hopefully you're going to watch some good shows, TV, movies, series, shows, Hulu, Prime, cable, whatever, Enjoy it, what you got. It's a great time to be alive because you can watch a lot of good shows at your disposal across many different streaming platforms. And, so it's August 25th. I'm going to take a break for a couple weeks, and I was thinking about either being back the 22nd or the 29th. So at earliest, I'd be back the 22nd. Latest, I'd be back the 29th because the 22nd is from Season 3, Episode 1. The 29th is Daryl Dixon, Season 2, Episode 1, with the Book of Carol being the main focal point. So, but I'll let you guys know, but just know that I won't be back doing some live streams for a little bit. Take a little time, a little break for myself, and we'll get back to maybe making some videos and everything too. So enjoy your Labor Day weekend next Sunday, because 3-day weekend, guys. get some shopping done, relaxation, pool, swimming, beach, barbecue, whatever. And then also, the NFL season starts September 5th. It's a Thursday. Chiefs, Ravens. There's a game on Friday. Packers, Eagles. Full slate of games on the 8th. And then on the 9th is Monday Night Football with the 49ers playing the Jets. So that's a big game too as well. So it'll be here before you know it, guys. It'll be exciting to be back with the football. College football technically started yesterday with the Florida State Seminoles losing to Georgia Tech. And then we got this weekend coming up will be the college football start. But the NFL will be back before you know it, and it's exciting for a lot of people. But thank you, guys. I truly appreciate you taking the time. Be safe. Enjoy your Labor Day next weekend. And I'll be back in a couple weeks. It'll be here before you know it. And when I'm back, we'll be talking about a bunch of good shows. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys. And remember, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals, whatever they are. Keep working. Keep grinding. You can do it, and I'll see you guys.